Hello and welcome to episode 87 of Ring Takes here, where we're going to be covering Survivor Series that happened this past weekend and the developments on Monday Night Raw, especially with the New Day turning. We will get into that. Of course, I am Daniel, joined by Brian and Lewis, as we get into another hot episode of wrestling. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get our thoughts on Survivor Series. Two War Games matches happened, a couple title matches happened there. What do you guys make? First, let's start with the Women's War Games match, highlighted by Io Sky's trash can appearance, in my opinion. Tiffany Stratton was a nice highlight in this match as well. I thought this match was pretty good. What are your guys' thoughts on the Women's War Game match?
Did you just say you thought this match was pretty good?
I'm starting off positive here, Brian. We're just
I guess Brian has some gripes about this match.
Just give me a minute.
I have a couple of gripes.
I just wanted to hear Brian's gripes because I've had my concerns with War Games in the past, and I just wanted to hear him. If he was going to say some similar issues that I've had with War Games in the past.
Okay, so in response to that, I'll say this match was okay, but it had some very, very sloppy spots.
Okay.
Very sloppy moments. First off, and whoever was the agent or producer who was in charge of this match or was in charge of the order of the participants in the match, they need to be drug tested. Why the fuck did Nia Jax start the match? I don't understand that at all. I don't even understand the psychology of her starting the match.
I'll say this: they did have her go up against Bayley, though, so they have some type of history there.
I don't even care about the history. I'm just talking like psychologically. Now, whoever starts the War Games match is pretty much in there for the whole 40 minutes or whatever it is. So so you got from an endurance standpoint. Why would you have your giant, especially someone like Nia, who honestly she's only good in spurts? You don't want to have Nia in there for a whole 40-45 minutes, even though she was.
I thought she was good.
Hey, maybe she wanted to prove her endurance, Brian. You ever think about that?
That's not what they were trying to do. Because you already know with War Games, the first 20 to 25 minutes mean essentially nothing because everybody's just wearing each other down until everybody gets into the ring, essentially. So,
all right. So, I mean, who else were they going to put in? They got Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae was going to be the first person in.
That's exactly who I thought was going to start. Either her or Tiffany was going to start the match. Actually, one of those two, because I know Liv wasn't going to start because she's the champion, she's the captain, so she's coming out last. And Raquel, for the same reasons as Nia, size-wise, meeting the giant, she can actually come in second to last. So I thought Tiffany or Candice is going to start. So didn't like the fact that Nia started. Nia had some bad moments in the match, especially that one moment with Naomi where she was about to hit her in the head with the chair and then ended up like baby tapping her with it. Like
I think Naomi messed that up. I think Naomi messed that up.
I think she got up too fast while Nia was winding up, so then they made it look bad. But aside from that, okay, one more gripe I had about this match, and it's actually something within war games in general I'm kind of getting a little tired of.
Where you going?
Yeah, I don't like it when participants come down and everybody goes under the ring to grab something to bring it into the ring. I'm getting annoyed with that. The way I see it, only one or two people should be doing it. Like if you have the giant in the match, you can come out, pull out a table, and then maybe on the babyface side you can have a fan favorite when the crowd is chanting "We want tables." You have them pull it out. But it doesn't need to be every single fucking person. I hated the fact that you had Tiffany Stratton come out and grab something. The Candice LeRae comes out and grabs something. Bianca grabs something.
Raquel Rodriguez was taking forever
to grab something. Didn't grab a damn thing.
You would think they would tell them where everything is before.
Exactly. But at least the only one that made sense was obviously with Io. And as impressive, I would just say this: love the trash can spot. Love how impressive it was. I think Io was completely crazy. I think we're getting to a point. We're getting to a point now where her doing that has become a thing now. And the fact, and when she did that, yes, now it's a thing.
Literally every War Games match.
So now going into War Games, now we need the EO to do something with a trash can. And it's just like, how can you top what she just did?
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing, Brian. 1 year she's gonna miss.
That's gonna happen.
That's the thing.
You over here talking about positivity, and you over here wishing death on EO. Like,
she'll be fine.
So 1 year she's gonna miss.
Maybe she'll land on a bunch of other trash cans.
That she places in the ring beforehand.
All right. So some positives. There was some good in ring action. I really is unfortunate that Jade wasn't in this match because having her in it, from obviously from a physicality standpoint, it definitely would have been impressive. But what we got was very impressive. Rhea Ripley, I love that mask she was wearing. That was very nice, nice designed. I thought it was funny when Liv came out with the baseball bat. Again, people bring this up into the ring. But I kind of, like I said, anticipated the finish because Rhea and Liv, they're the only ones that had an ongoing feud in this war games match that actually deserved to be in this environment. And the riptide through the table, the wonderful spot. So now that Rhea's probably going to be more than likely next in line after EO gets her title shot. So definitely looking forward to that. But like I said, I just thought this War Games match as a total was just very okay. Like obviously it didn't have the vitriol and the seriousness as the men's War Games match with all that that came together there.
You mean the car crash?
Yeah. So it almost seemed like they did this women's War Games match just so the women could have a War Games match. Like I said, Rhea and Liv's feud was the only feud worthy of being in a match like this. Everybody else was pretty much has been thrown together in the last two months. Or I mean, Tiffany and I have kind of had this thing going on for a long time, but it's definitely not to the level of Rhea and Liv. But yeah, very okay women's War Game match. Hopefully, if they do run this back next year, there'll be a couple of stories, ongoing yearly stories going on in it to make it better. But
you mean the Pure Fusion Collective in War Games?
Yeah, see, there you go again with more negativity.
I'm being positive, guys.
Should I just go right now? Should I just go?
You're gonna give us our thoughts on the women's War Games match. That's what I would like you to do, Louis. You can do whatever you want.
Just saying, I don't know why you're bringing up Pure trash collectives.
You don't call EO trash, and she literally uses a trash can.
It's more effective when she does it. This match to me, I think the only issues I have with the War Games matches, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch this live. I watched it. I watched it afterwards because I didn't even realize that it started at 6. I thought my brother started watching it. My brother started watching it at 6, and I'm like, oh, he's watching like
the pre-show,
when they talk and everything and preview, whatever. I thought it was all that, but apparently it started at that time. But the only thing I would say is, like Brian mentioned, I think the whole going under the ring, grabbing stuff, it's kind of annoying. And the only thing, and I saw somebody talk about it, is like, why don't I think maybe to either spice things up, maybe do War Games like an elimination style or something of some, because this was my thing with, because the match doesn't officially start until everybody's in, so it kind of feels like waiting for everybody to get in is kind of it's like a buffer. It's like a giant buffer. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I fast forwarded until
the match started.
So
I still want to see some good in ring wrestling.
But what is really gonna happen in that time Like, no one's getting eliminated.
And this is the issue. This is the main issue I have. In war games, the baby faces, regardless of whatever's happening, should never have the advantage. Should never have the
Why? Because they
advantage.
should get stomped out.
Psychologically, yes, but
Yes.
then there really is no point of them having the advantage matches then.
I mean, you can do it both ways.
Automatically just give the heels the advantage then, right?
I mean, the baby.
But you should give. I mean, build up the intrigue. But what does that do when?
But so, are you saying that only baby faces should win the War Games match?
No, I'm not saying that either. I didn't want the baby faces to win. The advantage in terms of who comes to the ring.
Why shouldn't the baby faces ever have the advantage?
Because all right, so let's say for this match here, Nia Jax comes out. She's facing Bayley, and then Naomi comes out. What does that do? Like,
see, as much as I didn't like.
I mean, Nia, it's not like they're in there alone for half an hour. It's like 5 minutes.
No, but that's my thing. It would make more sense for the baby faces to have to undercut and fight up. Okay, so let's say for this instance,
I see it could go either way for me at least.
Let's say for this instance, right? So would it have been more impactful if Rhea Ripley came out last to War Games or Liv Morgan? Rhea Ripley. That's where I'm like, that's the whole point of War Games. That's how War Games.
I guess like what Liv did, where she was just like, "Oh, look," and then comes out with a bat and like.
No, that was cool. I like that. Yeah. I did like that. That was cool. But it's just like
I will give Liv and Rhea her props. Like the fact that she was literally cracking her with that bat, I was like,
yes,
you guys. But yeah, I think the match doesn't start until everybody gets in. It's like nobody's really doing anything big until everyone's in.
They're just wearing each other down.
Like Io isn't going up top. Nobody's going through tables. People are just getting hit and
just wearing each other down until everybody's in.
That's my only thing. And like Brian was saying, the whole grabbing stuff, I don't know why they don't do it, and I forget what match it was.
Ambrose Asylum.
Exactly. Yep. Literally read my mind. Why not just have weapons all around the cage? Mm-hmm. Why? Because then you got the factor of people climbing up, grabbing stuff, climbing up here. Boom. You have your other spots, and
the desperation trying to get the weapon.
Exactly. Like the tables, you could just have them literally laying against the cage, like on different areas of the whole thing, you know? So it's like you don't have to have everybody wringing them out, pushing them. And it's like,
I'm just going to say this, the way they can.
I think there was the Raquel spot where they're just waiting for her to push it in. And it's just like the whole tug of war with the table. And I'm like, this is kind of dumb. But, I mean, the match was still good. Everybody kind of did their part. I mean, like I said, Rhea took them hits with the bat. I kind of like how they finished it off by, handcuffing Raquel to the corner. Io's spot was great. Everybody played their role, But I think it would have meant more if there was more of a blood feud going into it. This was kind of just like, hey, everybody's had matches against each other, and we got this one story that's
kind of
been going on. So I guess we'll have to just throw it all in there, So,
and this is where I've been saying, leading up to this, they need to do something different with War Games, because the pace of it. This is the
first one where you really felt like it needs a change.
I've been feeling like that for a little while. They're still entertaining. You still have your moments, but it's just like overall, they need to spice it up and do something different because one, the waiting, the intervals between times of people getting to the match, building up. And I'm like, the issue is that when you get into these matches where people have to stall and wait, they're lying around. They're not moving as much. It's like, okay, we got to have some type of consistent.
It's like a lesser Royal Rumble or something.
Yeah, it's like you have to at least have some consistent action in War Games. And especially when there's no. Yeah, go ahead, Bron.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm saying I can only imagine how it is watching that live. Since we went to Monday Night Raw and seeing the live action, like I can only imagine just like watching like live before those 20-25 minutes and like not seeing as much action or seeing like the women down like a lot 2 or 3 minutes and you're literally just looking up at the clock, waiting for the next person to come in because you're not getting anything in the ring. So I can only imagine.
This is where I've been saying they need to do these matches a little different because if we're going to be in there, these women can go. These women have all put on 20, 30-minute matches. There should be nonstop action in War Games. It should be a blood feud. And I know there's no blood, and that's why they do all those weapons. But it's like, no, there should be some type of struggle in these matches to a point where it's like, all right, these women are going all out. And then when the person that's fresh comes in, lights everybody up. Like, whatever the case may be. But it's just like, only issues I had with this match is just that, the pacing of it. Sometimes these War Games matches is just like, yo, I just want to see you guys just go nonstop action. I don't want to see you guys wade and lay on the floor. And there should be constant action in a war.
Honestly, just switch it up and just have everybody start in the match. That the whole, it doesn't start like you could easily just have it. People enter on one side, enter the other side. War Games begin and just go.
I've said it before. They need to do a tag team War Games match. Have 4 teams. That way, you know, it's literally everybody from themselves. You're going to get your tag team instances. You're going to get a different mix-up of people in the ring at times. I'm like, that's the next step because it's just going to get repetitive now. And the Bloodline has been in, 3 of the last War Game matches? Has it been 3 with Sammy last year? And then, it's been 3 years. Because Randy returned. Randy returned last year.
Oh no! The Bloodline wasn't in last year's War Game match. That was a Judgment Day and Cody and friends.
Oh God! All right,
that's my
bad.
Came back.
All right, but
it was Randy. Yep.
It's like how many more times are you going to keep doing the Bloodline? And like, there's got to be a different influx. As I said, they got to do something like, all right, you get number 30 in the Rumble, or get a number 1 contender shop at the Royal Rumble or something, whoever gets the pin or whatever the case would be, because that makes it more intriguing, but I don't know. But yeah, in this Women's War Games match, I thought the match really picked up when Tiffany and EO came in. I feel like there was a little bit more high pace to it, a little bit. The Swanton dive off the top, the backflip with the trash can from EO, which is a staple now in War Games, I'm assuming. I really like that. My problem is with the ending with Raquel Rodriguez. I know she was handcuffed, but for her whole gimmick in NXT and her whole gimmick on the main roster has been showing how strong her back is and how strong she is. And you mean to tell me she can rip the handcuffs off?
They're steeled in. Come on.
Yeah.
How many people you say break out of handcuffs? Come on. Is she really that strong?
I don't want to see her do a weightlifting video. I don't want them to talk about her strength ever again.
Okay, let me try to make sense of this. I'll say this. Babyface Raquel would have broke out of the handcuffs. She's a heel, and she's technically a cowardly heel now. She ain't as strong as she used to be. So I guess
Latina Diesel can't break the handcuffs.
She would have smiled her way out. She would have I'm free.
Thank God they stopped that, right? Thank God they stopped that.
She probably was smiling too while she was doing that. She was a baby face.
Let's keep moving on here. We had Shinsuke Nakamura becoming the new United States champion against LA Knight. How do you guys feel about this? Was it the bad omen LA Knight dropped the belt before the match?
Oh yeah.
He dropped when he was making his entrance. He dropped the belt. Literally dropped the belt. I was like, no way he did that.
I'm like, he's Nook. Oh, he's doing this.
What did you guys think about Shinsuke Nakamura becoming the new United States champion?
I think LA Knight symbolically was like, yeah, I'm dropping this.
Yeah, I think that's what I was saying. Like, is he that pissed? Like, did they just tell him before he went out there? Like, like what's going on there? Like, he literally dropped the belt. I'm like, that's not good.
I mean,
but what do you guys think about this matchup and the reign coming to an end? Obviously, this is probably going to be a feud going back and forth. But what do you guys think about this matchup?
I would hope this doesn't go long because, one, I'm happy that they've finally given Nakamura another chance, at least with the title. I hope he does something good with it. I hope
not the title he should have won, but
hey, it's something. The main card is very full right now. There's a lot of contenders, especially for the world title, and then you got Cody.
I mean, there's 9 Samoans on the roster, including Sami Zayn. So
that's what I'm saying. There's a lot. Like, there's so much in the title. All these title pictures right now, it's ridiculous. Like with Cody, you got. I mean, just in general, both titles. You got Punk, McIntyre's back, Bloodline people, Kevin Owens,
Randy Orton.
There's a huge long list of people who could go after the title right now. You know, you got Finn, like, you know, people are excelling in the mid-card titles, so hopefully this will maybe get them back, maybe put them in a prominent spot. Only hope, but I love the look. I like
Undertaker Shinsuke. You like the look?
Music. I like the I heard that it's a remix of his song, but in like a more ominous, dark.
Yeah.
Still cool. I'm not gonna nitpick, but I did like the heel stuff he did beforehand, but this obviously is much darker, less talking, and it's just.
I'm just not a fan of the bell-bottom pants. Just not a fan of it.
Nitpicking.
Yeah.
Undertaker Shinsuke, I like the dark look, but it's like just give him the black pants. He can still be cool. He can still be cool.
Hey, I mean, that's what Shoguns wore. You gotta respect the culture, sir. But yeah, definitely. And I think LA Knight, he did a good job, obviously defending that title. Kind of went through whoever was available to go, which was obviously Andrade and Carmelo. I
thought it was just going to be those three guys going back at it for the next couple months. That's what I thought.
I hope they, again, like I said, the upper card is very packed, but hopefully he can get back in there and hopefully he doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
Yes, hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. To echo Lewis's sentiments about Nakamura, his new presentation is it's an A+ right now. What was it? You said Shogun Warrior? That's the term for it?
Ghost of Terashima. Did I say that right?
I did watch that Shogun series.
See, you guys are gonna laugh, but I'm not gonna lie. When he came out and you saw the silhouette of the warrior, you know what came into my mind? Y'all gonna laugh.
Ember Moon?
Nah, yeah, Ninja Turtles 3.
Oh man,
was that Raphael?
I seen it. The first thing that came to my mind was that movie, and I was just like, but yeah, I love the new presentation. The match itself was very good. I do think it was a bad omen that LA Knight dropped the title on the way to the ring, or if anything, it kind of added to the match because now it's like, okay, he's not focused because he knows what he's up against, because it was on SmackDown that Nakamura missed him, which obviously, I mean, you see the way Shinsuke looks now with the paint over his eyes or whatever that is, looking more serious, and I just love the look. Obviously, love the new music. If Nakamura did lose, we all three of us will be on here right now saying it's done. Just release him, cut him loose. There's nothing more you can do. Ain't no way you bring this guy back for like a 3-week feud and just have him lose just like that with this whole new look and all this you've invested in him. So to me, it made sense. Like, yeah, you got to capitalize. So glad that Nakamura is being used again. He's going to be featured more, and it's not going to hurt LA Knight. I just looked up on my phone that he held the title since SummerSlam, which was 118 days. So had a little decent run with it. I do wish that he had more challengers. I can recall he faced Santos like 2 or 3 times. The Carmelo Hayes and Andrade triple threat match. I know he defended it against both of them in one-on-one matches. I just wish there would have been like more talent, for him to display. And
it could have been against those guys, in my opinion.
Hope we don't get lost in the shuffle. Because he's still going to be over with the crowd. He still has the catchphrase. He still has the charisma. So hopefully, he doesn't get lost in the shuffle, like Lou said.
No, I thought this match was pretty good. I thought both guys worked really well in the match. I was surprised by the ending because I thought LA Knight was going to win. And then when I saw that reverse DDT on the steel plate in between the ring, I was like, uh-oh, we're getting a new champion. Then shortly after, Shinsuke picked up the win. Glad for Shinsuke, of course, getting the win and getting the title. Obviously, he's been a mainstay on WWE for a while, and it's just like we just want to see him have some consistency and some good matches that we know he can have even at his age. I believe he's in his 40s. But it seems like that's the new prime for WWE wrestlers, right? In their 40s. But
apparently, yeah.
Hopefully Shinsuke can have a good run with his title and put on good performances. LA Knight's always going to be in the mix. Maybe this is a way that they can boost him into a main event spot. Again, you know, not having the title lead up to the Royal Rumble, whatever the case may be. But I think these guys, we just named all those guys: Santos, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Nakamura, LA Knight. This should be the SmackDown 5 if they can find another guy to go in there. You know what I mean? Let me see. Who else is on that? Austin Theory, Grayson Waller. Add some one of those guys in there since whatever's happening with those guys.
That's another group that teased so much breaking up and they still haven't, which I'm like, what are they waiting for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, and see with that, like that story with the whole like Waller kind of throwing him under the bus so much completely. I feel like they could have easily capitalized, and he probably would have gotten more support out of that story. But it's kind of fizzled out because other stuff has kind of taken over.
I mean, the same thing's kind of happening with DIY. You know what I mean? Like, there's just too many underlying things, and I'm like, why don't they just? I don't know.
I mean, it does look like, at least to me, I think we're getting heel Ciampa back soon, which I would fucking love.
We should get heel DIY.
Goldie back. Oof.
He's going to be in a tag team.
No,
he's going to be in a tag team.
He was so good as a single star in NXT.
There's too much mixture in the mid card.
Still though, like I don't know. Maybe I hold on to too much of how good NXT was, and I'm just like, just take some of that magic of what you have with these people and do it again. Again.
I really do wish it worked that way, man. Because there's a couple of guys where it's like you wish that like you could just take the people from Full Sail University and just put them in the audience every single night, and then you'll know these guys will get over. But you can't do that. So it's like, damn.
I think they're concerned with his size. I think that's holding a lot of guys back.
But that's you can't even use that anymore. You have people. You've had Kofi, Daniel Bryan. I mean, even before that, Kurt Angle was.
I mean, those guys were pushed at the behest of the fans.
But this is what I'm saying.
So that's another thing too.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get Johnny Gargano back to where he was as that sympathetic babyface that was like a Daniel Bryan.
Their song.
I know he does need that song back. I'm not gonna lie.
Like this whole new one that they're trying. I'm like, no, just bring back
I don't like it.
Not at all.
I don't care. Ciampa.
We know how good Goldie was. We know how good his heelish ways with the brown jacket was, and him beating the hell out of Johnny Gargano and being a heel and all those matches where they were lifting up the ring and stuff like that. Yes, we know. But WWE right now just has too much talent in the way.
And I literally just said the same thing, but it's like
it's a good problem, but it's like, damn, when your roster is that deep, and you have, especially at the top of the card, you know, you can only move so many people.
I'm fine with him being in a tag team. It's just like you guys have to utilize these guys more each week. Like I know the Bloodline storyline. This is where having too much depth at the top takes away. I like what they're doing with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, kind of just having segments until they fight at Saturday night's main event, right?
Yeah.
The Bloodline storyline has overtaken all of SmackDown basically, and even some Raw. It's like a lot of guys aren't getting opportunities to show what they can do. DIY falls into that. The Street Profits definitely fall into that. Who I wanted them to turn heel a while ago, but it's like you can only have the Bloodline be heels. I don't know. It's just
and also, I mean, and I think it's like because I feel like even just time wise, I mean, I don't know, like with even Raw going down to 2 hours, it's just like you still got to stack the roster, and it's just like there's only so much you can highlight every week. So it's like, I don't know. I think I'm also in the place where I'm like, I want that like unexpected, like just somebody like I don't know, like a Shinsuke, a freaking, I don't know, just we've had Cody, we've had Gunter, obviously just looks fucking strong, but it's just like I don't know, I miss the days of those like unexpected title changes. You're like, oh shit, they really are gonna like try with someone new,
I mean, but they're trying to get away from that in this era. That's the thing that they've been talking about, is creating guys that have stature and stuff like that. So they had Gunther with the 660-day reign. Cody has held it since WrestleMania. He's probably going to hold it until WrestleMania again. So I think we're going to get in the mixture just because of the Bloodline storyline kind of overlapping everything until we figure out what's going on with The Rock. And when we figure out what's going on with Roman.
We need to forget The Rock at this point, honestly.
He's going to be at WrestleMania. What are the chances? I know we're going to get into a sidebar, but what's the chances that The Rock wins the Royal Rumble?
Oh dear God!
That's something we have to start thinking about.
That would be such a waste of a Rumble. That would be, you know what that would be like?
Enters at number 30.
You think that would be a waste?
All over again. That would be.
He enters at number 30
all over again.
He enters at number 30.
I don't think it would be that bad, Lewis. Because think about it. Who are you anticipating to win the Rumble this year? Because there's no more Cody. There's no more finishing the story.
There's only 2 picks I have.
So it's like, so who are you actually picking? Like, think about it.
Punk. Honestly, if I'm being honest, Punk. Just because I don't know. Punk's so difficult because it's like, yes, he's older, but part of me still wants him to get that moment just because of how long he's been away. Mm-hmm. I feel like he kind of deserves it. I see Punk. You know me. I'm the optimistic one that just wants somebody fucking new to have a chance.
There's only 2 picks I have. Rock and Brock Lesnar. Those are the only 2 picks I have in the Royal Rumble. Yes. No. Because how else is he going to fight Gunther?
Yeah. If you're gonna
why not have if we're throwing Brock into why not have him come back for Elimination Chamber?
You got to have a big impact. Elimination Chamber. Do you think Brock Lesnar wrestled more than 30-minute matches? You said Elimination Chamber. I said, you think Brock Lesnar wrestles longer than 30 minutes?
You think Brock is going to go through a whole, I mean, obviously not through a whole Rumble, but
he's going to be number 30. And you think Jey Uso is going to win? And then all of a sudden, I don't know. But I'm just like, The Rock hasn't been around, and I'm just like, why didn't they use him at Survivor Series?
I could see. I'm not gonna lie. No, I was about to say Drew could win the Rumble, but I'm like, Drew's already won it. But
technically, a lot of people have already won. CM Punk is a wild card. I said technically a lot of people have won it, but CM Punk is a wild card because it's like you can see him finishing that story, right? Everyone finishes their story, right?
What if Solo wins?
And he becomes the real tribal chief. He actually has some credibility if he wins the Rumble.
I know we haven't even gotten to it yet, but I mean, maybe we should get back on track. But what was the next match we reviewed? Because I want to review the men's.
We're still working on it. Still got a couple matches. Braun Breaker retaining the IC title against Sheamus and Lee.
Great match.
I love the spear off the camera angle when he took out Kaiser.
Braun was flying in this match. This man was literally levitating through camera angles. I'm like, whatever guy is holding the camera made this man look like he was literally just flying through the air. Because I was like, yo, Braun is like, he's coming into frame mid-air already. I'm like, Dude's an airbender. I'm like,
his athleticism is just off the charts, man.
Crazy.
It's
like from when you see him leap to spear, you're like, bro, you're like a couple feet away. Like,
nah, he's trying to earn his check, man. He's trying to earn his check for real. I thought all guys were good in this match. Sheamus, I liked Ludwig Kaiser getting that shine in the match.
Yes, sir.
Bron picking the win. I thought it was a pretty good win for Bron, man. Continue to just rack up these wins.
Yeah, and I just want to add on about Ludwig Kaiser. Next year he's gonna have a breakout year next year. I could just see it now.
He needs his own theme.
Yeah, eventually he's gonna break away from Gunter, and when he does get on his own, he's gonna surprise a lot of people. I mean, I love his demeanor. I kind of like that little that little German swag that he kind of has with his accent and everything. He's another guy. I remember I talked about Bronson Reed after his match with Seth Rollins after I saw him in ring, and I'm just like, see, I believe that in Bronson Reed now. If he was a world champion, I could do the same thing right now with Ludwig Kaiser. I can picture him kind of in the same position as Gunther, because he definitely has the character for it. Yeah, so next year he's gonna have a big year. Obviously assuming health and everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I like how they kind of tease, and I don't know if they'll ever actually do it. Sheamus finally getting the IC title, because he's been close a few times, and
he's got to get it. He's got to get it at some point. They talk about it literally every time.
Only time it's eluded him.
See, that I feel like could be a perfect moment, like a Mania moment for him. Because you can see like he's in better shape than when he first came down. So he was kind of giving him crap, but he's also getting up there too, and he likes to go, but you can also tell he's slowing down too.
Yeah, but he's got to get it at some point. Even if he beats Braun Breaker and that puts Braun Breaker on a different trajectory, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I feel like he definitely needs it at some point, either at the Rumble, Elimination Chamber. He's got to win it at some point, somewhere down the line. But Braun Breaker getting the win, man, picking up good wins. Hopefully he continues to do that until he's ready for bigger and better things. Let's keep moving on here. Gunter defends his World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest with a little help from Finn Balor again. What do you guys make of that matchup? I thought it was pretty good. Gunter can't have a bad matchup.
Can I just say something?
Go for it.
There you go. Because you guys know, I upload the videos onto the Ring Takes X page. So I was watching our last episode, and I saw myself predicting that Finn Balor was going to get involved when you guys were constantly mentioning Bad Bunny getting involved in this angle somehow. And I remember how frustrated I looked. I clearly saw how frustrated I looked, and then to see Finn Balor get involved again, I'm just like, how long is this Priest against the Judgment Day shit gonna go on? I mean, like, why at this point? I figured that they had the blow off, they had their blow off, and that was that. Now Finn is getting a title match, so you already know how that's probably more than likely. So you're probably thinking, "Whoa, there has to be a triple threat at some point," which probably they end up losing, which means Gunter stays champion. Then Priest needs help. Who's he gonna call?
I already told you guys. I've been saying it for a year now.
and I swear,
you know who's gonna help him?
God, it doesn't help him. It doesn't happen. But
who's gonna help him? Right, you guys want to know who's gonna help him? Dom. Dom is gonna help Damian.
They have been teasing Finn Balor and Dom with this tension between them. The fact that Dom got a title match before Finn did. So they have been teasing this tension. All right, but as far as the match goes,
he's only gonna help him in lieu of screwing Finn. That's the only reason. Not like
number one. Dominic Mysterio should never be a babyface. at this point in time.
Like I just said,
only be a heel.
That man was getting Dom chants though during that match. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, since when?
You mean like how I was when we went to the Raw show and I was cheering for the only person in the mix of 15,000 people cheering for Dominic Mysterio? Was that
while he was in the ring against his pops, man?
Hey, I'm not exactly. I'm not gonna lie though, and I know we're gonna talk about Raw, but the way I'll hold it off, but I'll hold it off.
But as far as the actual match goes, it was a very, very good match. It definitely was kind of to the level of their match at SummerSlam, with the false finishes and such. But again, Finn getting involved. I mean, I know they got to continue that story.
Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat until Bad Bunny shows up. I'm telling you, it's gonna be Finn Balor. It's gonna be Finn Balor and Dom Mysterio versus Priest and Bad Bunny at WrestleMania.
There's no reason for it.
Or Finn Balor and JD.
In some variation of Judgment
against Damian and Dom. Same thing as Brian. I hated that Finn came out just to screw him again. Same thing. It's just like,
I mean, it was different. He jumped off the stairs.
Wow, so different. I thought it's just like, why do you keep throwing Damian? And yes, the stuff is unresolved, but at this point, I want the Judgment Day done. And I know they're slowly alluding to it. And hopefully it starts with them losing the tag titles and then it's just obliterated because they need to go. Everybody needs to go their own ways,
I agree.
Yeah. As far as the tag team titles go, Raw has a very good tag team division. The fact that these motherfuckers have held the titles for like a month or two, no title defenses, no book title defenses, no anything. How could they forget about the tag team titles like that?
Well, thank God for Adam.
They've been doing tournaments. Now they've been doing tournaments. Number one contenders match. I think what was it? The War Raiders. They were the number one contenders. Whenever if that match happens again, because I know they had it.
They have to. Again, they have to have Damian Priest cost Finn Balor something. Yeah. So I think that's where that's going to happen.
Exactly. Please have the War Raiders take these titles off so they can be taken seriously. Yes, I know Daniel's going to talk about the Little Caesar design and all of that stuff, but they're still tag team titles at the end of the day. Like, come on, we should be having do what they're doing on SmackDown with the Motor City Machine Guns. Like
I've been saying for months, there's enough time. I don't care what anyone says. There's enough time to put guys on TV, and especially tag team titles and tag teams. There's enough time to do that, and they have not been doing that because they're saving him for the storyline. And it's like Damian can cost those guys.
No.
Are we back now? Okay, we're back. But he can literally cost those guys the titles at any time. So I don't understand why they've been holding on to that. It would have added a little bit more credence if Finn costed Damian another shot at the title. If Damian Priest hit him back, I don't know. But we'll see what happens. But Gunter can't have a bad match. He's just he's like gold plated at.
I like the build up to this in the terms of making Gunter look like second guessing himself, kind of like doubting himself. Inferior. Like that whole angle was great. I just think all that was again ruined with this whole angle, and it's just like, give me something else, or I just haven't beat him clean. I don't know, but this whole Finn shit is like getting annoying.
And that's the frustrating. That's the frustrating thing about it, Lewis, is that because the build tour was so good, making, like you said, Gunter, looking inferior to Priest, where it really did look like Priest could come out, Priest may come out on top, because it was built up so well. For it to have such a bad finish that way, that's what makes it so disappointing. It's the fact that it was built up so well, and then you were let down with pretty much the same finish that you got at SummerSlam.
If anything, if you were gonna have this interference, have it be someone new. Have it be somebody who's like, "Yo, I want the title. I want." And which, I mean, in hindsight, I guess it makes sense that for Finn to be like, "Yo, I want a title shot. Screw him."
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like we've
been down this road before.
Needs to get away from the Judgment Day. Why not have somebody else? You could have had maybe even Ludwig come up and screw him, and then, whatever. I don't know.
Then Gunter would be mad at Ludwig.
And then that creates that turmoil or whatever. I don't know. Something else. Just like, I don't know.
They got to figure it out. But I'm telling you, it's going to end in a tag team match with Damian Priest and Bad Bunny versus the Judgment Day.
No, it's
in some capacity happening. With Carlito turning on the Judgment Day and helping Damian Priest, and they become a buddy tag team, and you have another tag team to the division. I'm calling it now. Just putting it out there. That's what's going to happen.
Is Daniel secretly a giant Bad Bunny fan?
I only know Booker T. That's literally the only song.
Lies. You've heard other stuff.
I only know Booker T.
No, the only one I know is Booker T. Like of name. I probably heard something from him, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want Damian Priest in the tag team because I feel like he's good it's stand on his own. He has shown that.
We don't need another Terra Twin situation, all right?
It's happening.
No.
It's happening. I'm telling you, it's happening.
What's next? The Puerto Rican twins? Come on now, no.
Yo.
Puerto Rican collective. There we go. The Puerto Rican collective. But yeah, let's keep moving on here to the main event. The Bloodline, the OTC Bloodline with CM Punk versus the new Bloodline, Solo, Jacob, Bronson Reed, the Tonga twins, facing the Usos, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk. What do you guys make of this match and the developments in the match?
Yo, this match is what a War Games match was supposed to be. It's exactly what it is supposed to be. When you think War Games, when this story started playing out with Tama Tonga first joined Solo Sikoa, and we started seeing the factions form, everybody was thinking War Games. Finally. And then we finally get it, and it's just like this is exactly what we expected. Now, me personally, I think Jacob Fatu was a huge standout in this match. I think there was a spot where with Punk in the ring where he went to do a moonsault and like he slipped, and then Punk had to move out of the way last minute, and then like he was selling his leg, and then like legitimately making you think he was hurt, and then he came back like maybe 5 minutes later and then did a moonsault. And it's just like, yo, his athleticism is just Jacob.
I actually thought he was injured.
I think he's hurt. I thought he was hurt. Because we haven't seen anything, but I think he's hurt.
That did not look right, and I was like,
because he's already hurt that leg.
Yeah,
and I'm like, he slammed it into the ground, literally slammed it. It looked like he slipped on his way up, and then he still did it. It was like, it was a bad hit.
Yeah, but he still did like stuff in the match afterwards, though. So
he was hobbled. He was hobbled. He didn't look proper to me, though. So I'm like, but that wasn't the only injury in the match. Bronson Reed
got hurt.
I hope what I've read is not true, but it kind of looks like it is true. So
I'm like, bro, like,
what exactly is the diagnosis on Bronson Reed? Because I just read that like he was hurt, but they didn't say what.
I saw somewhere that he like broke both his ankles or something like that.
So I saw something that they're examining one of his ankles, the right one. He's fine on the left one. It looked like he broke both, but they're saying they're examining the right one to see what's going on. Hopefully it's nothing. Maybe it's just a bruise. He did the edge. He did the edge.
But you can tell he didn't try, but it's like he didn't lean forward enough.
Yeah. He didn't sell out.
So he went just like
the
floor. and you're like, shit. Like I saw the slow-mo replay, and it was just like, and I was like, ooh, that might be bad. But hopefully they're not like shattered or anything. But,
hopefully not.
Like that would hurt a lot of momentum that he's built this year.
Yeah.
And hurt a bloodline member.
Jimmy Uso got hurt, broke his toe, I guess, apparently.
Who?
At least that's not that bad.
Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah.
Who, Solo?
No, Jay.
Jimmy. No, it was Jimmy. Jimmy. Like,
really?
Apparently, there was a video of them like walking into the press conference, and Jay like had said that Jimmy had like broken his toe. So
I think I sent it to you guys today, off topic.
Damn,
but
that stinks.
It was the clip of Jimmy and Sammy finally doing the handshake.
Oh yeah.
And you see Jay on the floor going like at the same time that they're doing it. I thought that was like a cool spot.
Yeah, I thought he was. When I seen it, I thought, is he doing that because they don't remember it and he's trying to show them how to do the shit?
Jimmy, this is how you do it again.
It was like, I'm like, talking about, they actually following along with that shit? Because look like to me, he's just moving his arm around. I'm like, like, hold on, they do that shit.
All right,
those guys are in sync. Those guys are in sync.
That twin shit. Yeah, that must be how twin brothers are. That you can just, yeah.
I will say this was a good War Games match.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hating, but I already know what this comment Dan's going to be like. Oh, negativity. Good spots, building the story. Obviously the stuff with like people going out and the whole Punk Roman stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to get
the interactions between each other.
The whole like, nah, I'm in charge. But I don't know. Maybe after the huge return last year, it was last year, right?
Yep.
I was expecting something, anything, a turn, a return, attack,
a new Samoan family member debuting.
Because I'm sorry, once, and I don't know, maybe you guys have different opinions, but once they won, I'm like, what is next?
This is another thing where I had an issue with
that too, but I have a good idea of what's next.
Because for me, it's like, is it basically just going to be another Roman versus Solo for the Ulafala, and that's it?
No, that's going to be the next match, and then the finish of that match is going to determine the next chapter of the story. That's where Rock needs to come back if we're getting Rock.
See, I don't know. Just because Rock is back in movie Rock mode, I don't know if he's coming back anytime soon. I have a feeling he probably will be at Mania, but if he doesn't get his ass back in here, there's really no point in him coming back at this point. But I don't know.
If you really want to do
his Christmas movie didn't do so well, so
if you really want to do something special, have that match on the debut Raw on Netflix then.
What, the Ulafala match?
Yeah, the Ulafala match, yeah.
That would be huge.
But they're on SmackDown.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, you can't even do that.
I see. No, because I saw a report that even though that despite that Roman is going to be featured on Raw, at least for the first couple of weeks, being on Netflix, because they really want to draw.
Isn't it going to go back to 3 hours?
Yeah, so Roman's going to be on the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. But
that was my only gripe, because I'm not gonna lie. Towards the end, after they won, I thought, because at one point, like, Sammy tells like Roman, like, oh, like, go out, or whoever to like step out. I thought Sammy was gonna like screw all this. I'm gonna go after Roman. Like, this was all a boy type thing. Like, I was waiting for something. And when they got to the whole end and they all just won and that was it, I was like,
this is where I'm like, what was the point of them winning? Because what happens? And then the only development I got from this is that eventually, at some point, Jacob Fatu is going to take out Solo because he's failed too many times. He's failed too many times.
Isn't this their first loss?
He's lost against Cody. He's lost in War Games to Roman. He lost another match. I can't remember.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't this technically his?
You guys forget he did pin Roman at Crown Jewel. So he pinned Roman at Crown Jewel. Roman pinned him at Survivor Series. So the next logical step, right?
Oh boy.
Maybe that's where it is. I think where he loses the Wheel of Fire is like, nah, maybe that's where Jacob steps up. I don't know, but I'm very curious to see where they go from here. I don't know. That was my only thing. I was just like, you had so much storytelling, and okay, Roman came out on top, but it was just like, maybe that's the feeling. And I was like, what's next? Where is someone turning? Is someone returning? Is someone attacking? And I was like, there's no. What am I looking forward to? You know, so
I don't know. There's got to be something.
No, definitely.
Because Paul Heyman's back. He's still.
Oh yeah, I wanted to mention that too. Him coming out right when the match started. That was perfect storytelling. Right when Punk and Roman were about to go at one another, for him to come out and be the voice of reason. I mean, it's Paul Heyman. He's a gift. Yeah. He's a gift that keeps on giving in professional wrestling.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. I love the power struggle between Roman and Punk. I thought that was a good touch, and the facial expressions and Punk charging out in front of Roman and all that stuff. I thought that was a good touch because it's like not everybody's under his thumb apparently. So there's that angle that's playing up, and we'll see what happens, man. I really enjoyed Survivor Series. I thought it was a good. I just want to change it with the War Games match. Something different. That's all. Yeah, good show. Can't complain.
Because so I had seen online like there was a lot of criticism mostly towards the women's War Game match, saying that could this be the year where they decide like, hey, let's cool off on the War Games matches for next year and let's go back to traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series because of how the women's War Game match was. Me personally, I kind of hope they don't do that because obviously War Games has its history, and there have been more good War Game matches than there have been bad ones. It was just this one, and I can't remember one that was bad before it. All the ones in NXT were always great. We've seen the ones that we've seen since they moved to Survivor Series have been good, except for this women's one that just happened. So, I mean, I just think one bad match. I mean, next year, hopefully, there'll be better, more serious, more personal stories going on as far as the women go. Yeah. As far as the men go, I mean, the men's War Game match was what it should have been, which was very.
I don't know, because it's like, should they have won?
I really thought they were just going to dominate to continue the story. That's why I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Or I thought that I thought either Rock or a new Samoa family member was going to get involved and at least help them. So when that didn't happen, it's just like, okay, so they're going with the whole, okay, you pinned me, I pinned you, let's fight for the Ulafala. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably where it's going to go. We'll see.
I don't know. So I guess just adding on to more like which way would they go. So if Roman gets the Ulafala back, what does everybody in Solo's group just join Roman? And
that's what I'm saying. Whatever the finish of that match is, it has to start a new chapter or.
So this is what happens. They fight at the Rumble. Roman defeats Solo, putting an end to that chapter. Everyone thinks they're going to follow Roman, and then The Rock comes out. And then everyone has to make a decision.
Well, what does The Rock do? Like, I want to be in charge. If
he wants to Ulafala now,
coming back full time or even part time,
he's like,
he only has to be around a month.
All the shit that you've been doing since you came back, teaming up with Cody Rhodes.
But that's what I'm saying. You saying, okay, if they have to choose between Roman and The Rock, how often would The Rock be around?
I mean, how often was he around for WrestleMania 40?
Okay, but you're saying basically kind of swapping out Solo for The Rock. Solo's here every week.
Who's more credible? Even at 50.
I'm talking about being present is what I'm saying. You can't have Jacob and the Tongans coming out every week with no Rock. That's what I'm saying. Is he really gonna pop up beginning of the year all the way to Mania?
Oh no! I'm saying the Royal Rumble's in February, so he only has to hang around a month. You can't get 4 dates out the Rock leading into WrestleMania 41, which is in Vegas.
Man likes to make movies, all right.
Don't forget, yo, bro, he's on the board. So realistically, he can insert himself whenever he wants to. Realistically, if he wanted to,
I'm just saying.
But yeah, that's the only way I think they can do it. I don't know if they can do it another way.
And then also, you're telling me you're going to postpone. I'm not postpone, but you're going to push this story out until the Rumble.
They've been pushing this story out for a while.
The Rumble from January to February.
You got to think The Rock has been gone since WrestleMania 40. So,
Bruce, realistically, this story has been going on since COVID. When you think about it, this whole fucking storyline has been going on since COVID.
Oh man, no, but I don't think as we all laughed when Paul Heyman said, "Hey, we're only in the 3rd inning."
I guess
that was a year and a half ago.
I guess.
So they're gonna try to drag it out. And they've done it. They've been doing it for a while now. But Survivor Series is good. But let's move on to Monday Night Raw, and we can start with some other things. But I think it was only right that we start up with the New Day turning.
Whoa. I've been waiting for this.
All right, Luce, you want to go first on this one since you've been...
I'll let you guys go first on
this. So, okay. I'll give you guys my initial reaction and then what I did afterwards, and then I had to
cry afterwards, but
I didn't cry. Okay, you know what did hurt me? Let me go through all this. I'm watching this segment, and I'm like, I can't wait for this episode of Raw. It's gonna be all New Day. We're finally here. It's happening, and they come out and they're teasing like, hey, we're just gonna have like an amicable split. Once they said like, this isn't the crowd's fault. We've just been going our separate ways, which what I wanted, and I think maybe a lot of people wanted, or not, I wanted heel Woods, and I wanted him to get his own run. And for me, the vision was, let this man go on his own, see what he can do. Let's see if it works. Once it came out, I thought it was great. I'm like, hey, Big E's back. He's going to reunite them, get their minds right, continue the group. But then the turn. Now, my only issue with it is, and this was my initial reaction, when they started saying all this stuff to E, I was like, I don't believe this.
This is not happening.
This doesn't make any sense. Man broke his neck, and you guys are back. You're shaming him. You're saying it's all his fault that you guys have not progressed and furthered your careers since he's been gone. So even once E was like, you guys serious? You're for real? You're really saying all this? You're telling me we're done? No, I'm here to support you. I'm going to be your manager. And once he started walking away, I'm like, they're going to say psych or we're just kidding. Because I'm not going to lie, their faces didn't look genuine or didn't give me.
They sold you, Lewis. They sold you.
No, they to me it sounded like they were saying all this, but it wasn't sincere. Then once he left, and then they're like, oh, we're the only ones left, and we're cool. It all didn't make sense to me. It didn't, which is why I had to rewatch it again. This was the first time I've ever had to do a double take in WWE. I was like, I need to watch this segment again.
Because you missed something.
I'm like, yo, I didn't fully process this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to lie. What they said made sense.
Mm-hmm.
It made a lot of sense.
Whoa. I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm just saying, after I reheard everything they said, to me, it made a lot of sense. Again, it was obviously the heel, but like they said, he didn't require surgery. And it is true. Big E has been on many of a PLEs
on the pre-show,
commentating, talking, appearing, and he's been around. And this man decides to show up when they were about to split up and say, hey, let me come back. You know, since you guys are hitting a breaking point, let me come cheer you guys on.
What was all that before then?
Exactly. I'm like, yo, this makes a lot of sense because he is on WWE's programming. He's on the PLEs. He's on his other stuff. He's going to other events, promoting other things. He's doing a lot. And they're right. Hey, he took a new position, but he forgot about his brothers.
I'm so disappointed.
It was very.
You heard my thoughts yet, man.
Big E gave me the biggest soft spot because his reaction was so just like I can't believe you guys are saying all this. I can't believe you guys are really turning on me, shooing me away. I'm trying to come back and help you guys. I'm rehabilitating. I want to come back. And I think what Woods even said, he's like, yo, stop lying. Tell people the truth. You're never coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you were, you would have been back.
Mm-hmm.
So this, like I said, I had to watch this twice. But this whole segment, now the only thing I don't agree with is that after everything they said to each other last week, and then want to put all this blame on E just for coming back, now they're just in solidarity.
What?
Yeah,
that's the only thing that didn't make sense because they said some messed up stuff to each other. And like I've seen online, this is the first time the Brock Lesnar stuff has been brought up.
Then the King of the Ring got brought up too. So they both. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of. Not to cut you off, Lewis. That's kind of how I looked at it at first. Because at first I thought too. I'm like, okay, they kind of came at each other last week. So now they're kind of together now. Yeah, I thought like, okay, well, they both kind of said fucked up shit to each other about accomplishments they've had in their careers. So that kind of cancels each other out. That would be a reason for them to kind of be like, yeah, you were right. So I understand that. Like you, Lewis, I kind of also had to do a double take. I didn't like watch the segment back, but kind of like right in the middle of it, I kind of had to like think to myself. I'm like, yo, they're really going through with this turn. And then I also thought like, okay, if you are going to turn this group who's been together for a decade plus, had all this momentum, selling all this merchandise, was your number one like babyface group. If you're really gonna turn them, what's the best, most effective way of doing it? And I'm just thinking, and then I'm like, oh, so this is the most effective way for the tag team to then essentially bully and insult the powerhouse of the team of the group who's been MIA. I just want to say again, I know it was an accident, but damn you, Rich Holland. But just as an aside, but at first, I was kind of like, I kind of don't believe it either because like I mentioned before, I listened to these guys' podcast when their podcast was on and going. So I know how much of a brotherhood they actually have outside of the ring. So at first I'm thinking like, yeah, I don't really believe this, and then I kind of had the same reaction that you did, Lewis. Once they started going in on Big E, I'm thinking like, this guy just broke his neck. Like, what is he supposed to do? And then I stopped. I'm like, but they do kind of make a lot of sense. We have been seeing Big E on all these fucking panels and PLE panels, and yet
he was even at WrestleMania
showing up. I mean, we didn't see Big E for Big E for a minute, but yet we got Odyssey Jones for 3 weeks, and we didn't see no Big E then. So that's another thing another thing to think about. And I was a little confused. I was a little confused throughout it, and I'm like, come on, guys. Not like this. And I love Big E's performance because it was just like, it was so genuine,
be an actor,
making himself cry. He's a very good actor. But I initially thought that Woods was just going to be the one to turn. I think initially when he started talking, I thought Kofi was going to kind of like stand up for Big E. And then once Kofi started going, it was just like, okay. Now, for the future, Woods is going to be able to pull this off because Woods he's already shown over the years. I remember him in TNA as Consequences Creed and other instances I've seen like Woods can be a heel. Like he was the strong point of when the New Day were heels initially. Kofi is going to be the one where it's like, okay, he's going to be the one that's going to decide whether this lives or dies because it's very difficult to look at Kofi Kingston as a babyface. I mean, as a heel, because even when he was going in on Big E, like you could even tell like some of his like delivery and stuff. She's just like, I mean, dude, you really don't mean this. You're really trying to make us believe it. Yeah, and you're trying hard, but it's like, dude, this is not you. This is not you, and that's the response I got. But
that's funny, Brian, because I've watched these guys a lot on like up, down, down.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Kofi is one of the people that, obviously he's like the nice guy, but when it comes to like being a jerk, like, oh, you thought you could take me? Like, that whole like cocky, arrogant.
Playing video games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He talks so much shit because he'll win and be like, oh, you thought you could come after me? Like, all that. But like with this, it's like the more serious meanness was like off-putting and like, is this really you? And
he should have played up to that, like being a little like jerk on screen a little bit, like, oh, are you coming back? Like, he tried to play it up like that because I feel like that would fit. If you watch up, down, down, you can tell he's a jerk at times.
Yeah.
But let me go ahead, Brian.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
It's like
it
was a good turn, but it had me doing double takes too. like I said, Kofi's going to decide whether this lives or dies. That's all. But it was an effective turn. I said
earlier, I'm disappointed in both of you guys.
Why?
Because this is, again, WWE's lazy booking. This thing was not, again, when I said this was going on and they were trying to break up the tag team, I was like, what's the best way they can turn heel? And of course, it was Woods turning heel. That's what we all wanted. That's what we all thought it was going to go. I thought they would have lost the tag team title match against the Judgment Day. Yeah. That would have been Xavier Woods' way to heel out and break up from the New Day. Cool, whatever. They didn't do that. They dragged it out. They had these guys blame each other, talk shit to each other all for weeks, and they're like, that's not enough. We needed something else as a driving point for the breakup or whatever the case is. And they chose Big E, who broke his neck. That's number one.
He didn't break it.
So let me just say this. First of all, if Kofi and Xavier Woods are his boys, why didn't they go after Rich Holland?
Well, he left. He went to NXT.
Here's the thing. Yeah. They're healed. But here's the thing. They're heels now. So it's like, okay.
Now.
Yeah, now.
That's number one. Why didn't they go why didn't they go after Rich Holland?
Because that wasn't gonna happen.
No. I don't want to hear about they're not in NXT, whatever. Okay, but they can go. They can go to NXT. Whoa. They can go to NXT for selfish gains to win the NXT titles, but they can't go after Rich Holland.
Answer one question though. Dan. When has someone legitimately been hurt, and then they went after that as a real?
Whoa. Number one, first of all, they're his boys.
Answer that part though.
Yes.
When has someone had a legitimate injury and turned the person that injured them into a real story?
First of all, Rich Holland's whole NXT gimmick is based off of that.
You're not answering the question, Dan.
Initially, yeah, when it started, yeah.
Dan, you're not answering my question.
At the end of the day, they should have went after Rich Holland.
You're not answering my question.
Big E can turn it around and said, "You guys didn't back me up."
Never happened. It's never happened.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm just gonna say this one.
Can't do that story because it makes it seem like he injured him on purpose.
They literally just did that NXT story where he's hurting people.
But he didn't legitimately hurt them.
It's wrestling, Lewis.
Come on, you act like you're not a wrestling fan. It's a work. You're telling me every person that Randy Orton kicked in the head, did he legitimately hurt them? No. He kicked John Cena's dad.
Didn't Randy Orton fight Triple H because Triple H was trying to fight for the McMahon honor after he kicked the whole family in the head?
But who did he legitimately injure, Dan?
They said on TV they gave all those people
legitimately injure. Whose neck did he almost break? Whose head did he almost fracture?
Vince, Linda, Stephanie, Shane. Oh, he took out the
they
whole
all
family.
Came out perfectly fine. Come on, Dan.
But overall,
you can't justify this as a wrestling fan if it has never happened.
Overall, they should have went after Rich Holland. They didn't,
because that has never happened.
And they should have went after the Sheamus and Butch. They should have went after that whole crew, and they didn't. They didn't get their boy back.
You have no leg to
stand on. NXT and win tag team titles.
You have no leg to stand on this one.
This is lazy booking because they needed a driving force. It didn't even make sense. They said Stone Cold came back. They said Kurt Angle came back. Okay. Number one, those guys were cleared, weren't they?
Yeah.
Big E has never been cleared. He's never been cleared by a doctor. He hasn't. So that whole part of it, he hasn't been cleared. I think in storyline he has been cleared and he's coming back soon. That's what I think. But overall, he hasn't been cleared in storyline. We haven't got any development saying he's been cleared. He's ready to go. XYZ. We haven't gotten that even from Dave Meltzer.
He said he's healthy.
He's healthy in the point of being a natural human being, but in terms of wrestling and taking bumps, he hasn't been cleared.
I mean, didn't they say the same thing about Edge?
Yes, and look how long it took him to get cleared. Nearly 7 years?
Came back.
7 years.
Still came back.
Big E was hurt a couple years ago? Daniel Bryan was hurt a couple years ago? Like, it takes time. Big E's been out 2 years now?
2 going on 3 probably.
Yeah.
It takes time, but I'm just going to continue here.
But this is where they came back to work, and that was their point, though. No,
remember a show called Smack Talk?
Okay, but tell me this.
Remember a show called Smack Talk?
Huh?
Remember a show called Smack Talk where Daniel Bryan was up there and the Miz was like, "You can come back XYZ, XYZ." He was on TV. Edge came back for the Christian in those segments
because
he came to work.
Who was Daniel Bryan going to come back and work with?
It doesn't matter. He can wrestle.
No, this is what they were saying. They were like, you came back to work as whatever, commentary or whatever, but you want to come back now and be our manager? Why didn't you come back initially and be our manager?
This was a weak way to extend
not.
It is.
No, but
the right thing they should have done.
Alone works.
Exactly. How else were you going to turn them heel and have people legitimately pissed about it? I mean, turning on Big E is only
what Brian's saying is true. It's a bigger impact because obviously everybody has sympathy for E for the injury he suffered. If it was just Woods turning, everybody's like, "Oh well, we knew this was going to happen because we already saw the heel."
Sometimes simplicity works. Huh? Sometimes simplicity works.
And hey, I was one of the ones that said I wanted that to happen because I wanted to see it happen. But this also added another layer to the story where it made sense because, like what they said, what they said made sense was, Biggie, you got injured, but you still came back to WWE and did
according to you guys,
instead of coming back and cheer us on. You want to come back and cheer us on when we're about to kill each other, hate each other, breaking point. Now you want to come and save us.
So according to you guys, they're good guys. They're not heels.
I'm not saying good guys. I'm saying they made a strong point.
Yeah, they made sense. Just
yes.
So we'll say that.
I just didn't like how they kind of smooched over last week's interaction. That's the only part I didn't like, because they said some messed up stuff to each other that, like, we have probably said the Brock stuff, the King of the Ring stuff. Nobody ever really talks about that stuff. And they said it. They threw it in each other's faces, but because they shit on E, now they're
together again.
They're just solidarity.
They just needed a striking point, and Big E was the turning point. That's all it was.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it. I didn't like it. I understand what they were doing in the context of it, and them being mean to E. Cool, whatever. But it's like, if that was the case, they should have had Big E trying to, over the past couple of weeks, trying to get them together and be like, hey, you guys need to get on the same page, XYZ. And then they can be like, hey, only now you want to come around? That probably would have worked a little bit better for me.
I think it would have worked better for me if maybe last week didn't happen.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. Because they went far and then try to reel it back in with all the E stuff. It's like,
yeah.
Y'all could have been on the whole disagreement point, have E come back and be like, now you want to come help? So it was a lot. That was a big segment to unpackage a lot of stuff.
I'll say this: no one knows how to do highlight packages better than WWE, because that whole promo package for the New Day, cinema, like how they just continue to do this stuff.
Yeah,
those promo packages are dope.
You forgot about some other times, like
like they've been together. What was it, Brooklyn 2000? 15?
I don't even know.
It's been like
15,
I still
14,
remember their original like teaser packages. I was like, I remember just hearing their name. I was like, New Day.
Yeah. Thought it was stupid,
especially after the whole Nation of Domination thing real quick, and I was like, give me that.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I remember during that time when they first came together. Like they were, I was saying, like, yo, bro, they need to be the new nation. Yeah, like, and then you saw, and then you saw the stereotypical vignettes, and like,
all because
when you heard their podcast and they talked about on their podcast, I remember they were saying, like, yeah, Vince is like, you guys are gonna be my black preachers, and I'm like,
Pentecostal church and all that shit. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Well,
it had longevity. It worked.
What if we turn that around into what we got, man?
It took a while. It took a while, but we got there. I'm not with it, but we'll see where it goes. Obviously, hopefully Big E's still on storyline with this. Hopefully it just wasn't this one-off, and hopefully he can be featured more on TV, because we miss Big E. So hopefully he's back. Let's keep moving on with Raw. CM Punk and Seth Rollins get heated, actually coming to fisticuffs in this one. What do you guys think about this brawl and setting up the match between Sammy and Seth later in the night?
Yo, so going back to the War Games match, I did not have mentioned it. I love the layer of storytelling that they told between CM Punk and Roman Reigns, because it's like, all I kept seeing is like, yo, bro, okay, they're just making this eventual feud with Rollins even more personal. Not from Rollins' standpoint, he's looking at it and saying that, you know, I tried to destroy this bloodline, and now I look up, and now I hate you even more because you're working with the guy who I tried to bring down last year.
You're keeping it alive,
and that those layers of storytelling are just so impressive. And then even when they brawled in the ring, that didn't even look like a typical wrestling brawl. It actually looked like an actual fight. They were actually trying to throw actual not shoot punches, but like actual punches. And
a shoot fight.
like a legit fight. And it's just like, eventually once we get the vignettes of this story, and when they actually get into the actual promo work to actually build up this match, we're gonna be in for some entertaining television. I'm looking forward to it.
You don't want to know what this is? I'm thinking, there's any chance this ends in with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus CM Punk and AJ Lee?
Does it need it though?
It doesn't need it.
It doesn't need it. It's personal enough.
It doesn't need it. But I'm fearful that it could happen. I want to see AJ Lee back in wrestling. I saw her on Heels, the show on Netflix.
No,
you gotta watch.
I haven't watched season 2 yet to see her, but I saw season 1. It's a good watch. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this: season 1 to me is better than season 2, but it's still a good watch. It's still a good watch. But yeah, they come to fisticuffs, coming to blows, and you can tell it's been personal ever since Seth Rollins called him a cancer, and that he doesn't want him back and all that stuff years ago, and now it's coming full circle. Now it's like this is heating up. Obviously, this is going to continue. Maybe we get it on Saturday night mains event. There's 2 of them. Brian indicated to me before we got on, so maybe that happens. Maybe some interaction at the Rumble.
Oh, yeah. Question: Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think they can push this out to WrestleMania or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, they have pushed the Bloodline storyline for 5 years. They can push CM Punk and Seth.
I mean, that's what
we might get a match before then.
I mean, that's what you were supposed to get last year. So,
I'm sure they can keep pushing it. But yeah, I just like the intensity between these 2 guys. It's obviously going to come to a head at some point. But it also ties into Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins telling Sami Zayn to open his eyes. Obviously, they got into a heated confrontation and got into a match with Drew McIntyre returning. And apparently, maybe he was the one that attacked Jey Uso, who was taken out before the match. And obviously, coming out, Sami Zayn was conflicted. Ended up costing him the match against Seth in a roll-up. And after that, Drew McIntyre comes out, hits the Claymore on Sammy. What do you guys make of his return? Especially, he was gone for a while. We haven't seen him since Hell in the Cell, right? So,
yeah. Well, I'm just gonna say this: I'm glad to have him back, but I'm just very intrigued with what his direction is going to be. So, is he just good? Is he going after the Bloodline? Going after this babyface Bloodline again? Is he going down that road? Because you would think now you got Sammy, you got Jay. He's pretty much going to be chasing them. Is he eventually going to go after Roman again? I'm just curious about what the direction with Drew is right now. So clearly,
I have an idea where it's going.
I really don't know where they're going. But you know, it's funny. Before this, I really liked the Sammy Seth promo. Because it touched on a lot of stuff, and they went back and touched on a lot of stuff. And I like how Sammy brought up you want to talk, and how both of them brought up we each have turned the chair on Roman, causing him to become this tyrant or whatever. Especially, obviously,
but Seth started.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I keep saying. I'm saying, yeah, but you started it. Bro, you're the one that turned on everybody in the beginning.
Not really.
Maybe not really. He's the one that broke up the Shield in the beginning. He started this whole
Shield. Roman didn't become Roman until Roman didn't.
He didn't become the tribal chief until 2020. But the dominant Roman that was always winning, he created that.
I'll just say this. I'll tell you where it's going. 2-man power trip. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. That's where it's going.
2-man power.
They have 2 common enemies: CM Punk, Roman Reigns.
The 2-man power trip.
So you know who else I think could be a part of that group is honestly Kevin Owens.
Ah, true.
Because they're all in this same boat. Why is everybody coming to Roman's aid after everything he did to everyone? And that's literally the story. And it is true. And that's why I'm everything Seth was saying is we took him down at WrestleMania. This was this year.
Yeah, and now they're just building him back up.
And he even said it. He's has he apologized to you? Has he apologized to Jay? Has he apologized to anybody for what he did? And it's no. So why?
The one thing Seth Rollins can say that no one else can say, he hasn't lost to Roman. Roman's never beaten him.
Exactly, which is crazy.
What? Roman's never beaten Seth?
No,
it was a DQ. It was a DQ at the Rumble.
Yeah, Roman's never pinned Seth. Nope.
Ever?
Nope. Seth has beaten Roman, but Roman has never beat Seth.
It's the one thing Seth Rollins has over him.
Ever. You guys sure about that?
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
Even during terrible babyface Roman era?
Yes, ever. I'm
gonna have to look that up. But
that's the one thing Seth has over everyone.
That's crazy. But yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, a lot of what Seth's saying makes a lot of sense. It's like, why is everybody so quick to come back and help Roman? And the crazy thing is like, Solo became the new tribal chief, and it's like, what has he actually done that was so bad that we need to help Roman?
Mm-hmm. I just don't understand why anyone's helping Roman. It doesn't make sense.
That's the only thing. It's like
their logic is it's survival against the bloodline, but it's like in the same breath, it's like you don't have to deal with him.
I'm like, I get Jay's
You guys
motive.
You guys want him to get back on top and deal? You want to deal with that bullshit again? Like common sense.
And that's why I'm like, a lot of what they're saying makes a lot of sense. Because if you look at it, first it was Jimmy being like, yo, we got to take him out. Then Jay was like, yeah, we got to take him out. Sammy, we got to take him out. And it's just like, why is everybody so quick to go back? And like, I get Jay went back out.
That's the Fast and the Furious
title.
It's the Fast and the Furious, Lewis. Family.
Well,
that's all it is. But
I guess it all goes back to that, right?
I just don't. Again, I don't understand it. And in WWE storytelling, it's like, yeah, we're going to cheer Roman, but in storyline, it's like, no, I actually agree with Seth. I actually agree with Drew McIntyre, and I actually agree with Kevin Owens. There's no reason.
You know what's crazy is that we're all still like, yo, we got to put our ones up because it's just so good.
We were jumped in.
We're all fucking hypocrites.
And that's why the heels make our heels. They're right. Purposely right.
And the thing is like you just said, it's like, I still like, come on now.
Every time.
It was just like, he was so dominant, and then we're like, we want him to lose. And now we're like, but he was too good.
Doesn't matter what it is. It's like, that's why I'm like, he's not gonna lose. He can't lose. They can't do that to Roman. It's just like, at some point, it's got to come to a head here where it's like, all right, somebody's got to be like, nah, he's actually a piece of shit, and you guys shouldn't cheer him or buy his merch or celebrate this man. Shouldn't boo him and be a heel.
I'm gonna need at least one OTC shirt.
Yeah, that purchase is definitely got to happen. Where is it? Here we go. Let's get into our next segment here as we see what happens with the future of Drew McIntyre. Let's move on to the Women's Intercontinental Title Tournament, which was announced a couple weeks ago. We got our first match with Dakota Kai defeating Shayna Baszler and Katana Chance. What do you guys make of this bracket? We have Zoe Stark, Raquel Rodriguez, and Kaden Carter in another bracket. Lyra Valkyria, Zelina Vega, Ivy Nile in another match. We got Alba Fire, Kairi Sane, and Natalya also in this bracket, who is my favorite to win this tournament as a resurgence in her career.
God, no.
Bret Hart's hold the title. When Hart's held the title, I'm just saying it's in her lineage. It's in her lineage.
No.
She's going to lock in the show.
I just want to say that compared to the Women's United States title bracket, this is definitely the weaker bracket compared to the to SmackDown.
Hey. You got Kairi Sane in there.
Like, I'll just say this, like when you the bracket you named, like why are Katana Chance and Kaden Carter even a part of this? Because they're to me they're like a real
the only tag team.
Fire and what's her face?
Aliyah Dawn. Aliyah Dawn is not in here.
Yeah,
Alba
Alba Fire is a former UK women's champion and UK women's champion. So I believe her. But I just feel like compared to the United States one, it's definitely a weaker bracket. But it's definitely but you're definitely gonna get some entertaining matches. Natalya, as much as we hate to hear it, Lewis, she kind of is a wild card. Remember, this is the mid card title, not the main title, the mid card title. So you kind of want to give it to someone where you're kind of not expecting it per se, or somebody who's a kind of already established because you kind of want to build up the title.
Established though, Brian.
She is established.
Is she established?
Is she established? Give me another word that's greater than established. That is Natalya. I mean, Natalya is the foundation, right?
Is she though?
I'm just saying it makes sense. It's lineage. It's lineage. It's in her blood.
Talk about riding coattails, Dan.
Talk about Daniel. Who's in that triple threat match with her?
Kairi Sane, Alba Fire.
Yeah, she's easily winning that one.
Natalya is locking in that sharpshooter on Alba Fire, and she's tapping.
Yeah, she's easily winning.
Yeah.
This is going to come down to. It's going to be Natalya, Lyra, Dakota, and who else is in it?
I think it's going to come down to Natalya and Dakota in the finals. I think that's all right. So let me go over the matches again. So Zoe Stark, Raquel Rodriguez, and Kaden Carter in a triple threat match.
Okay.
Lyra, Zelina Vega, Ivy Nile in a triple threat match. And then you got Natalya, Kairi Sane, and Alba Fire.
So it's gonna be Raquel.
Why don't I just do this?
Dakota.
Yeah, what?
Hold on.
Natalia. Yeah, that's your 4.
I'm saying what? I mean, Dan, you mentioned the 2-man power trip. What if they have Raquel win so they can be the 2-woman power trip with Liv?
There you go. There's the bracket.
Yeah, so it's gonna be Dakota versus Raquel. And then
which there's history in that.
And then there's going to be Lyra versus Natalya. And it's most likely going to be Lyra versus
Raquel.
Unless
why are you guys? Natalya is having the underdog story to win the title.
Exactly. She has to go up against Raquel.
I'm telling you.
Unless Raquel gets a cheat win with Liv's help.
I swear, if Raquel does win and they become the 2-woman power trip, like
that would be crazy.
It's Diesel and Sean. Yeah. That's exactly what it would be. Diesel and Sean.
Diesel and Sean.
That's what it is.
Like, come on, but if you're trying to build up these women's mid card titles, I mean, the mid card is supposed to be known for good in ring work. So why would you want to waste it by just throwing it on Raquel just as it would literally just look like a prop to her because you know as far as in ring work goes, you got better talent on the card to do that.
I mean, Raquel has been. I mean, I haven't liked her.
She's good in the ring.
She was an NXT champion for a while, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but you wouldn't expect like Raquel to do like open challenges and stuff, though.
Oh no, that's not gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen with that title. As I said, I think Natalya, they got to give her something. She's been around for a long time. This is her swan song. She's not going to win the world title, but she can get that Intercontinental title. And to be the first.
You know what's crazy is that honestly, you could probably throw Natalya into the world title right now.
I'll just say this much: if she wins the first match, she has to somehow steal the second match because no one's going to believe her if she wins 2 matches in a row straight up. She has to steal the second match
with a roll up or something.
Yeah, with something like that, something unexpected.
You guys are hating on the boat.
Yeah,
that's the whole time.
Or if you really want to be funny, just have her steal every match with roll ups and just taking advantage.
Or they don't have her fart again. As long as they don't do
that. Or yourself.
Good job, Vince. Good job. But yeah, that would be our Raw recap. Now, before we go, because I know, Brian likes to stop when I'm ending the show, to talk about AEW. So I feel like it'll be given enough time Here you go. You guys, Brian and Lewis, you guys can give us your full gear review.
Like I said before we started, Full Gear was too damn long.
I don't want to hear it. You guys want to talk about AEW? Go ahead. No, talk about it.
Why are you discrediting other wrestling promotions, Dan?
I don't want to hear about how long it is. Go ahead, talk about it.
Why are you discrediting all other wrestling promotions?
All right.
Okay, I'm not. I wanted to talk TNA.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there's a clip going on social media right now about me mentioning the NWA on YouTube. So let's not even get
and GCW and MLW.
Hey, if they're willing to have sponsor this podcast,
Right, I will say this to echo Lewis's sentiments about AEW Full Gear. I do agree it was a very fucking long card, and that's minus the pre-show. I'm over here looking at the match results right now. On the pre-show, they had 3 matches. You had Anna Jay facing Diana Purrazzo. She beat Anna Jay. Anna Jay defeated Diana Purrazzo. I mean, we want to see more. Yeah, we want to see more Diana Purrazzo on Dynamite. I mean, I remember when she got signed, I was saying that was a good pickup for them. But since then, she's been relegated to Collision. I don't understand why. Then they had a fatal 4-way with Buddy Matthews, Dante Martin from Top Flight, Commander, and the Beast Mortos. Again, another random fatal 4-way. They just throw some guys on the card, and Buddy Matthews ended up winning that match.
Good.
Then their feature match. Are you guys familiar with TikTok?
Nope.
Yes.
So have you heard about this guy, Big Boom AJ Justice, the Costco guys? So you guys,
unfortunately,
yeah.
So this was I guess Tony Khan's attempt at getting some social media shine, because Big Boom AJ Justice, Costco guy, had a match with QT Marshall, which he ended up winning. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually was watching this match while I was on a tour in San Francisco with my wife. I was actually following along. Actually wasn't that bad.
So you weren't there for the educational experience, Brian?
I mean, this is right after we saw the Golden Gate Bridge and we were coming back. So,
okay.
So really
you saw the good stuff.
I saw what I needed to see, so I had it up. So I just following along on my phone. But from what I saw, I mean, it was pretty it was entertaining for what it was, and I also saw after the fact that social media wise, the clip on YouTube of this match actually got like over 10 million views. So if that's what they were trying to accomplish, like hey, yeah, more power to them. But now to the actual card. So the night started off with a fatal 4-way tag match for the AEW title. You had Private Party defending against the Outrunners, Kings of the Black Throne, and the Acclaimed. Once again, another AEW match where it's just a multi-man tag match. So it's pretty much a car crash. And they kind of focused a lot on the Acclaimed in this match and that their breakup, because it seemed like Max Caster and Anthony Bowens weren't on the same page a lot of times during the match. Like a lot of instances where like Bowens would reach for a tag and Max Caster would be turning around taunting the audience, or like there would be communication like Max Caster would go up on the top rope telling Bowens like, yo, hit your finishing move so I can hit the elbow drop. And like and like that's actually how they ended up losing, because Caster was on the top rope too long, and then Private Party then hit the Gin and Juice to retain the tag team titles. So basic match, basic fatal 4-way, nothing crazy. Lewis, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, the match was fine. I mean, they're still teasing that whole split, which needs to happen ASAP. I think it's good that Private Party still, I mean, they just won those titles, so I wasn't expecting them to lose those titles anytime soon. So it was an okay match. I'm still a huge fan of House of Black, and I feel like they need more shine. I would love for them to get the tag titles at some point. So
why haven't they?
They only got the damn trios titles. I'm like, which I don't think are even featured anymore, are they? Oh no, they are, right? I think.
Nah, it's funny you said Moxley's crew, Death Riders.
Yeah, exactly. They have the trio.
But I mean, you don't physically see them, but they are the champions.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So then, next match on the card was MJF and Roderick Strong Like I said during our last recording, this story has been completely all over the place, and I'm at the point with it right now where it just needs to end. And clearly, based upon what we saw on Dynamite tonight, they're definitely pushing this towards the World's End pay-per-view. But MJF pretty much won with by submission. Nothing to this match. It's your typical MJF match with him, talking shit to the crowd, talking shit to his opponent, and Roderick Strong, being such a great in-ring technician himself. I mean, it was a good match, but pretty much it was what it was. I mean, this story just needs to end. And then the next match, which I felt like stole the show until a couple matches later, was Mercedes Moné defending the TBS title against Chris Statlander.
Great match.
Now the last 15 minutes of this match are some of the best in-ring work I've seen from women in a long time. All those false finishes, they got me at least 4 times on some of these finishes. Like some of the moves that they were hitting, you were thinking that the match was over. I think Mercedes Moné did like 6 or 7 meteors in this match with those double Gs.
So many.
She did so many of them.
Is it the Uso super kick?
Yeah. And pretty much Chris Statlander was the first person that kicked out the Mercedes Moné's finisher since she's been in AEW, the Money Maker.
So I got to find this match then. Because I've been waiting for Sasha Banks to Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, I actually recommended you watch this one. That's how good it was. People were even going as far to say as for AEW that this was the number 1 women's match of the year. I mean, I don't agree. I personally thought that the
Tony Storm.
The match at the Tony Storm and Mariah May match at All In was better, but that's my opinion. But this really was a good in ring match between the two. Daniel, if you're not going to watch anything AEW, go back and watch that match at least. So
I really thought Chris Statlander was going to win that title. I think she should have, honestly, but they didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, so it's definitely top 5 women's match.
I gotta check that out. I'll try to find it.
Yeah, top 5 women's match of the year, definitely. I'll definitely give it that. Then after that match, we had Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page, which Jay White. Yeah, it was a good match, decent match. Jay White ended up coming out on top. Nothing crazy about the match. I just think after what Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander did in the previous match, I think it kind of impacted this match somewhat. So, but Jay White came out on top, and you end up seeing both of them later on, which we'll get into. And then the next match, which I feel steals the show because obviously one of the participants in it hasn't had a bad match in AEW since he's been there. You got Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. Daniel, this is another match that I suggest that you go back and watch because not only did this match have good in-ring action, this match actually had very good storytelling. Like there's actually a story here that actually makes sense of guys that used to be together as a tag team and used to be brothers, and now one guy wants to stand out. So now he's turning on his brother. Like that's a story. That's a simple story that anybody can relate to. So that's one of the reasons why this match was the match of the night. I mean, some of the there's one sequence in this match where literally they reverse moves twice in a row, and then Kyle Fletcher hit a move, and then Ospreay bounced out of it and hit his finish, and the in-ring action between them, you could definitely tell that the chemistry was there on point. And then Kyle Fletcher coming out on top. I thought that was the best decision. I know Ospreay was 100% behind that, trying to get his friend over. Kyle Fletcher is going to be definitely be somebody that next year is going to be someone that they're going to be a focal point of the company. I mean, especially he has Don Callis with him, so obviously that heater. So Kyle Fletcher is going to be doing big things next year. So that definitely was the match of the night. Let's see what else was next. Okay, so because that match was so great, in my opinion, the next 2 matches sucked because of that. that the energy of the crowd was completely dead for these next 2 matches, and you could definitely tell that the participants were trying their best, but the crowd was just not feeling it because of what Ospreay and Fletcher had done. So we had Daniel Garcia facing Jack Perry for the TNT title, and Daniel Garcia won via submission. And then we had Takeshita defending the international title against Ricochet. And I just want to say about this match that these guys Ricochet really did try. He really was trying. They really were trying. I just felt like this, like I said off the air, I felt like this match just wasn't needed on this card. Like you could have had this match on an episode of Dynamite, had the exact same match, and the crowd would have been into it more. Because they just weren't into it because Ospreay and Fletcher just took them on a roller coaster ride, and they were exhausted and like. And like the crowd just had no energy until the next match.
Our show.
Until the next match, which was Bobby Lashley and Swerve Strickland, and
match.
Like it pretty much was a display for Bobby Lashley. I mean, I even saw during this match like it'd be crazy if Lashley wins this shit in like 3 minutes, and if he does, good. That's a good way to build him up. But I think they ended up going 13 minutes. Lashley took the majority of the offense. He really showed that like why he was so over in WWE and what he's going to bring to the table in AEW. Hit all of his moves, took Swerve out.
He brings legitimacy.
So as far as like
booking
wise, they took care of Bobby Lashley in this match. So
sweet.
And the Hurt Syndicate in of itself after right after on last week's episode of Dynamite, they cut a promo to open the show. Yeah. The fact that they have more direction than fucking John Moxley's crew says a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Like the fact that, like, think about that for a second. And we're gonna get it. Matter of fact, we're gonna get into it. The main event: Moxley defending the title against Orange Cassidy. Now, the match itself, fine. I mean, it was brutal. I just hated. I mean,
a John Moxley match. And Orange Cassidy doing his best Spike Dudley impression.
but the match started off hot though, because Orange Cassidy came out early in the beginning. Like, soon as the bell rang, he hit 3 orange punches, like trying to end it early. So I like how the match started off in that way. But the finish was pretty much the Death Riders all coming ringside, and I think Wheeler Yuta ended up hitting a boom psycho knee to Orange Cassidy when the ref had his back turned, and then Moxley ended up getting the win that way. And then Moxley retains the title, and then a whole bunch of foolishness happened. So I'm gonna try to explain clearly. So right after that happened, I think Hangman Adam Page came out to the ring. Right, he came to the ring, and I think like he was gonna hand it, and I think like he handed the title to Moxley randomly. Then Christian Cage comes into the ring, comes from behind, and hits Moxley with the kill switch. And mind you, Christian Cage has that contract where he can cash in at any time for a world title match. And it looks as though he's gonna cash in. And he's looking at Hangman Page, and they're both kind of confused. You don't know what's going on. Then Jay White comes out and attacks Christian Cage. I guess as revenge because Christian Cage had taken out Jay White months ago, and so Jay White Christian had taken out Jay White months ago. So then, meanwhile, while all this is going on in the ring, the Death Riders somehow escape to the back, and they're trying to escape. As they're walking to their car, here comes Darby Allin in another vehicle, and he crashes into their car.
Wrestling in their cars at this lately.
Exactly. So they're crashing into their cars. Darby Allin doesn't get out and attack them afterwards. He stays in the crashed car. They steal the Death Rider steal someone else's car, drive off. Then Darby Allin gets out of the car with the skateboard in his hand, saying, "Where you going, Mox?" and with blood all over his face, just screaming out, "Where you going, Mox? You're not taking AEW from me." And it was just a very confusing ending. And then they kind of explained it on Dynamite. So the deal was, Hangman had pretty much cut a deal with Christian Cage, pretty much saying that, hey, look, if you win the AEW title, I get the first title shot. So when he went out there, he was trying to distract Moxley so Christian could
Why do they do that? Why do they do that?
and they, like I said, and even when Hangman explained it in a promo, like you kind of had to put it together, use common sense to put it together. He wasn't clear about it. It's just like, oh, so you cut a deal with him for him to win the title, and then you get the first shot. And then Jay White pretty much came out to break all that shit up, because it's like he's thinking like, one, Hangman, I beat you, and 2, this motherfucker took me out. So why am I going to let you guys get a title match? But so that's how that story is going right now. So I think they're saying that it's going to end up being a fatal 4-way at their next pay-per-view. But
at World's End.
At World's End, it's going to end up probably being a fatal four.
Then they tried to bleach Orange Cassidy or whatever.
Oh yeah, and then afterwards, and then before all that happened, Willa Yuta had like a bottle of bleach or whatever the hell the chemical was and poured it all over Orange Cassidy's face. I don't understand what the purpose was of that, because Orange Cassidy did end up coming back on tonight's episode of Dynamite, so he was only out for a week. So I don't understand what the whole point of that angle was. Yeah. But Full Gear, like Louis said, it was a long ass show. For me personally, it took me multiple days to watch it. But it was what it was. In ring wise, it was impressive. I mean, we got some great action. Storytelling wise, it was kind of on the weaker side. Like I said, with AEW, man, if you want to remain sane, watch the matches for the action. Don't watch it for anything else.
Yeah.
Don't look for logical
reasoning. Story, basically.
Don't look for logical reasoning. Just
watch for the action. Watch for the action. Well, watch AEW like you would watch like a boxing match or an MMA match or MMA fight.
Got it.
The action.
But I'm gonna check out Mercedes Moné because I've been waiting. Chris Statlander in the match for the TBS title because I've been waiting ever since she's arrived for a banger to happen. I thought it was going to happen with Britt Baker, and that just didn't hit as I thought it would. So the fact that we got the Chris Statlander match, I'm excited about that. Of course, Kyle Fletcher, I've seen a little bit of him. I know he's good with Ospreay, so obviously he's not going to have a bad match. We'll see what happens with John Moxley because he's on a rampage right now, and I'm just wondering. There's been rumors of people. On that. There's rumors of Shane McMahon being behind it, or whatever the case may be, and
shit. At this point, I hope so.
It has to be that. It to be
that. If we don't see Shane by World's End, then it's not happening. I don't think because by this point,
I don't know.
The story needs something, because
what's their big pay per view? Is it Revolution or
Double or Nothing?
All in?
No. There's one in February or.
So Double or Nothing technically is their WrestleMania, but All In is their stadium show. So it's like I think All In is the WrestleMania now. Yeah.
What's the one that they had? What's the one in February? Is it like?
You sure it's not? You sure it's not Double or Nothing?
No, Double or Nothing happens in May, right?
Yeah, Double or Nothing.
That happens in May. There's another one. There's one in. I can't remember. I can't remember.
Revolution then.
Yeah. I think that's where they had their early season, right before WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Revolution then.
Yeah, I'm like, that's where they probably would do it. Just me thinking, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the long list of AEW and what they have underneath their belt. Also building up to World's End, of course, with you guys following AEW. Also building up to Saturday night's main event, which happens next weekend. So that's coming up next weekend, and then we're on the road to the Royal Rumble. So we'll see what happens, and then see what happens with the continuation of the Bloodline storyline. CM Punk's back, Drew McIntyre's back. The New Day's turning. We'll see what happens with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, of course, on SmackDown. Who attacked Jade Cargill? Maybe we'll get some development. Maybe we get some developments with that. So we'll see what happens with that. But as always, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for joining me on episode 87. And until next week, always kick out on 2, everyone.